Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. The Barnett Black Cat. So, this is an all plastic bow. Yep, the only metal on this thing are the screws, and that's about it. Interesting. So, 3 years later, still shoots. It's a lot weaker than it was. I do tend to overdraw this bow because it is only 26 inch. I got it for free. I can't complain. But I do overdraw it because I'm a 28-inch draw, and this thing is like supposed to max out at 26. Minimum is like 24 at 15 pounds, and at 26 inch, you're supposed to be at 20. This thing at 28 is sitting at 14, and at 26, it's 9. And we don't even want to discuss 24 inch. Okay, it's just pathetic. So maybe it might launch the arrow. So not a very long lasting bow. And though I've shot it a number of times, it doesn't take much. These are actually screwed right out of the factory because with plastic limbs, once you bend them and they stay bent with the string on, if you don't de-string it, they kind of just sit there and stay, and they really don't have any real rebound left in them afterwards. So best way I can show you that is simply this. There should be about 3 to 4 inches. We have only about 1.5 inches. So if we were to stretch this back up to where it probably was right from the get-go, we would be sitting here, which means we would have a brace height of about maybe 6 inches. Okay, so instead, because this thing was underload right from the factory and the limbs bent, we got a pretty huge brace height. This is not good. And it doesn't take much to pull this sucker back either. It's pretty wussy. Anyway, I really liked this bow when I did the initial review, and I thought it was pretty good for what it was. But unfortunately, it has suffered the ill effects of, well, I never de-strung it, and I also had it sitting in the shed for 2 years. Now, didn't mean I didn't shoot it. I did from time to time, but I just left it in there strung up. I mean, hey, you know what? I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed in archery when it comes to all the ins and outs, but I'm becoming really sharp at it because I've been a real junkie since I bought my PSC Nighthawk and my PSC Stinger. Now I'm really getting concerned. But I'm also getting really big into target shooting, and I'm going to go into hunting. So I better know my gear, and I better know what I'm doing. And so, I mean, my Nighthawk always gets unstrung after use, taken apart, put back in the bag for storage. And that's where it sits. I don't leave it strung up. Okay? Even though it's got composite limbs, it probably won't be affected so easily, if at all. It's kind of a hard one to say. Depends on who you watch on YouTube. But I still don't leave it strung. I just, as soon as I'm done shooting, that's it. Pop off the string, pull off the limbs, and throw it all back in the bag. It's also easier storage for me. My compound bow, on the other hand, stays strung, and compounds are designed to stay strung all the time. It's the mandate of life of a compound. It is meant to stay strung all the time. So, but, and thankful for that too, because I wouldn't want to have to go out and buy what do they call it, a bow vise or whatever it is, in order to, a bow press, in order to unstring it after every use. That would just be stupidity, nuts, and yeah, I would never do that. So thankfully, compounds are actually designed to stay strung up all the time. But these other things, depending on what they're made out of, all fiberglass. I've got this Indian bow that I got to put some new rests on. It's left and right-handed, but you got to flip it for the other way and then flip the string too so everything lines up properly. But I got it set for left-handed right now, and I do have to put new rests on because I've been shooting off the shelf and it sucks. But this thing, being fiberglass, is not affected by staying strung up all the time, okay? Because it's fiberglass. And fiberglass is a pretty resilient material, especially when it's this thick too. And this thing's got, you know, better, about 20 pounds on it too. It's got a good pull. It's a pretty nice shooting bow. I got this gifted to me as well, and it's been strung for, well, more than 10 years that I've had it at least. and definitely longer than that my buddy had it for, and it's the same string on top of that. And yeah, no ill effects at all, other than the fact I do want to get a new proper string for it, and maybe a new set of caps, because somehow I think I accidentally threw them out when I was purging some stuff, because I can't find them or my spare string. So whoopsie. But I'm going to get a real string. I'm going to get a good proper string for this thing. So another trip to the archery shop. However, that is a really good bow, and it's too bad that they don't make the Indian bow anymore, but they have replaced it with a new kind of bow. They changed the color, changed the name, and it's still a slightly very similar riser. The design is pretty much the same. Let me just grab that for you. It's called the Bear Archery Firebird, and it's only $89, but it's also from what I'm seeing here, it looks like it's all fiberglass. I'm gonna have to buy it to find out for sure, and I'll let you know. But I think that would be kind of sweet. Oh yeah, okay, so the shelf is left and right-handed on the same spot, so you just have to literally change hands. And I'd like to be able to shoot ambidextrous. I shot right-handed my entire life. And then I discovered one day when my buddy gave me my first compound bow, that Martin Magnum Phantom, it was left-handed, and even though I needed some practice, I was getting damn good at it left-handed, better than I ever shot right-handed in my life. So I'm kind of like, all right, well, there's a few things obviously we need to clear up in life, but I still want to shoot right-handed, so I am going to buy a couple of bows that are right-handed, and I'm thinking I'm going to include this one into the mix because I'm kind of curious. You know, I mean, we've had a few things change with names and stuff because of political correctness and all this stuff. So that could be why maybe this became an insulting name. I don't know. But it's one heck of a nice bow, I'll tell you that. And considering the price point, I mean, it's definitely worthy as a long haul. You can pass it down and pass it down. You know, I mean, you're not going to kill a fiberglass bow that easy, okay? Plastic, on the other hand, garbage. Now, I've looked into a bunch of different Barnett bows, and I've looked at different reviews, and regardless of what star ratings you see, I have heard an awful lot of bad things about Barnett as a company in the whole of trying to deal with them. And for that, I'm going to say probably maybe you should think twice before buying a Barnett product, regardless of what it is or how much it costs. Like, they even have like an almost $900 crossbow, and I'm like, why would I spend $900 on a freaking crossbow when I can get something in a similar style or even the same kind of style, but for far less money, that is also coming from a more reputable company as well? Barnett's probably been around for an awfully long time, but if their company service and support is that crappy, I really don't think it's worth buying their products, to be honest. And when they pre-screw you over already on even something that's $120 new, you're already screwed right from the get-go. I mean, the thing is not even going to perform the way it's supposed to. That's pretty bad. Okay, so I was pretty green a couple of years ago, and in the last few weeks, the amount of studying I've done and the amount of YouTube consumption and the amount of Googling and forum jumping and everything else, I'm not so green no more. I'm getting up there. So, you know, and I'm like, I am so happy for the internet, because we never had that growing up. We were on our own for everything. Okay, we learned from books, or we joined into clubs to learn something like archery, which I never did. You know, but we didn't have the internet as a resource to give us all the information we need to know. Same with buying products. What customer reviews? There was no internet, there's no reviews, so we always took chances at any product we bought, and boy, did we ever get screwed a lot. And other times we got good products. It kind of varied. But nowadays we have the internet to rely on more. I would say rely more on YouTube, to be honest, than on like a website for written reviews, because a lot of those reviews, by the way, are as fake gets. It's not hard to figure out who they are. You just gotta know what you're reading and how to read, and you know how to read between the lines of some of the stuff, and oh, that's fake. okay? And nowadays with AI, who the hell knows what the heck you're reading, right? But I'm not going to recommend this bow as a used bow. I mean, you can't buy it new anymore, but I wouldn't even recommend it used at any price point, okay? Don't even bother with it. If somebody wants to give it to you for free and it still fires, fine. I mean, that's the state we're at. I mean, I got it for free. It probably wasn't even shooting right out of the get-go when I got it anyhow, which it wouldn't have, knowing what I know now about preloading weight of a string on your limbs with plastic or wood when it comes to wood bows, because even wood bows get screwed over pretty fast if they're less strung up. Composite bows, not so bad, and compounds have no effect, so you're fine with a compound. It doesn't matter. But non-compounds, yeah, you got to be very careful of the materials they're made out of to know if you can actually leave them strung or not. And in every case, I would say don't leave it strung. Don't take a chance, okay? Just because somebody went 5 months and there doesn't seem to be any ill effects, that doesn't mean there isn't any. You know, that's the thing. But because they still have wood cores, even though they're laminated limbs, right? So anyway, that's what I got for you on this one. I don't know what else to tell you other than that. Don't buy it. And don't buy anything from Barnett, to be honest. I mean, not with the problems I've heard about their company. I'm sure all companies do have their problems, but these guys, they can't even send you the right parts, or they ignore you, or it's like, well, we're not supporting. Well, yeah, but I just bought the damn thing brand new. Like, how can you say you're not supporting? It's discontinued already. And it's like, oh man, just garbage, right? Anyway, do as you wish, though. I am personally never going to buy a Barnett product myself. I've never had to before. Like I said, it was a gift. First Barnett, and yep, it's the last one too. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing, if I'm going to keep it or give it away. I don't have no idea yet, but you know, it still kind of shoots. So, you know, anyway, so that's all I got for you. That's your update review after 3 years of this thing. And with me having a lot more knowledge base than what I had before, I'm happy for the knowledge base, and that I'm going to continue to grow my knowledge in this sport as well, because I am going to be doing a lot more of target shooting, as well as I'm getting into hunting with this as well with bows. It's just my personal choice to hunt with a bow. I like the silent and deadly approach. You know, we'll just continue on from there, and we'll buy a few bows off Amazon too while we're at it, and try out other little accessories and toys along the way and see how we do with those too. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for stopping in, and see ya.